Hi everyone and happy Wednesday. I am calling today Worried Wednesday because I believe that collectively people are genuinely worried. People are worried about health. People are worried about job security. People are worried about finances. People are worried about what the summer might look like for them and or their children. People are worried about what the fall may look like. Will there be school in a live way? Will there be remote learning? Will there be a hybrid of sorts? People are worried. And worry is actually a thought process that we have. It's a narrative. And some of us worry more than others. Some of us, I believe, are natural born worriers and tend to play that narrative loop over and over and over again. And just like other kinds of thoughts that I've talked about before, we can challenge them. We can challenge our worries. And when I used to work in elementary school, one of the things that I used to do with my kiddos who had some anxieties and worries and were fretters, they would come into my office and I would have them write down one thing that they were particularly worried about that day. And they would write it on a piece of paper. Didn't matter about spelling, didn't matter about punctuation, didn't matter about grammar. They would write it down and they would scrunch up that paper and they would step on it and they would rip it. They would make a mess of it. And then I had a beautifully wrapped box with a slit in the top. I called it my worry box. And they would take those mangled pieces of paper and they would insert them in the slit in the top of the box. And the worries were literally moved to the other side of the room and we moved on with our session. And this is a ritualistic, concrete way that children can sort of pack their worries away, put them in their back pocket, and move on. And it's one strategy that even adults, older kids, can use. And it doesn't have to be a box, doesn't have to be that same exact ritual. It can be a modified version. It can be writing in a journal and sticking that in the drawer. It can be writing it on a piece of paper and maybe just throwing that piece of paper away. But sometimes these ritualistic hobbies or activities or exercises can really help us to remove the worry from us and our brain and actually put it on the black and white paper and then put it away. I used to say to my children, wouldn't it be great if we could hold off on worry until we knew that we had something to worry about? Because often worries don't come to fruition. It's just that narrative loop that plays in our head. Another thing I used to do with my students is to urge them either during the day with me or talk to their parents about creating worry time, specialized time carved out during the day to save their worries, to have a conversation with them, and you set an egg timer or you set an alarm on your phone for 10 minutes, for 15 minutes, maybe 20, for the child to get out all their worries, to say what's on their mind, to have dedicated worry time so that they could unleash those thoughts that had been swirling in their mind. And it's carved out plan time that's scheduled, and it's a time to have that conversation. Let them have it a free association so they get it all out and then process it a bit with them, brainstorm, problem solve, figure it out in a time limited way. And when time runs out, it's done. Your worry time is over. We must move on. Sometimes just knowing that that time is scheduled and that it's planned for can sometimes make a whole difference in the entire day. So I urge you to try that too. Even if it's a conversation with yourself or your best friend or your spouse or maybe your adult children or your older children, whatever the case might be, set aside some specialized time to get those worries out. And you may find that your brain is almost tricked into not thinking about those worries during other parts of the day. It's worth a try. And I choose instead, because we have such power and control over our thoughts, I choose to believe. And some might say, well, don't you just have rose-colored glasses on? Aren't you the eternal optimist? Aren't you Susie Sunshine, who is just believing things are fine? And my response to that is, maybe, and call it what you may, but perhaps I am choosing to believe that I have the strength and the resiliency to power through and get to the other side. Maybe I have the strength to tackle whatever obstacle might come my way. Maybe that worry actually happens, and maybe there is this roadblock, and maybe there is this bump in the road, but I believe in myself that I'm going to be able to navigate and work it through and problem solve and figure it out, and I'm going to successfully get through it and see you on the other side. And so my challenge is, wouldn't you rather, instead of the weight of worry, why not the buoyancy of belief? What a lighter, more positive way to be and way to go through your day. So I challenge you to think about some of these things. I fully believe that the summer will happen. It might not be optimal, it might not be ideal, but it will work out. I fully believe that the fall, we may not love the outcome and the way that we start out. We may not think it's perfect in any way, shape, or form, but somehow we will survive and perhaps will thrive. So just a different slant, a different shift in our thinking, but I think they're important, and I urge you to give that some thought. I wish you a wonderful day, and get out in that sunshine and believe. Thanks.